Welcome to Future Focused, Priority One's interview series on the ideas and opportunities here in the Western Bay of Plenty. We chat to the creators, pioneering businesses and community leaders shaping our region into a thriving hub of growth and innovation. Join us as we take the pulse on Tauranga.
We have a special guest here today, Angus Dowson from Ballance Agri-Nutrients. Angus has been with Ballance for over 6 years and recently changed his role. He's now in the transformation team and is here to talk about Balance's work in nature projects. Kia ora, Angus, and welcome. Could you please give us a bit of a background on Ballance?
Absolutely. Ballance is probably a company that a lot of people that aren't involved in agriculture or horticulture wouldn't have really heard of too much before. So I guess our reason for being is when farmers grow crops and food, it takes nutrients out of the soil and tends to be that gets moved off farm and consumed somewhere else. So if farmers aren't replacing the nutrients on their farms, the soil gradually depletes over time. So Ballance really is a company that's farmer owned. It's a New Zealand cooperative, and we're tasked with bringing nutrients from all around the world into New Zealand and giving our farmers reliable and affordable access to those nutrients. So we've got about 750 staff across the country. We've got our main sites are in Mount Wanganui and Awarua in Southland, but we've got about 140 sites across New Zealand in different communities, so it's a fairly wide-ranging business.
Definitely, and I know that Ballance is definitely a valuable employer here in the Bay of Plenty region in our city, so it's great to have you guys here. Could you tell us a little bit more about your public nature projects and I guess where staff are involved in these as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the Bay of Plenty, I guess Ballance has been here since, post World War II when we first started up. So we've got a long-standing connection with the Bay of Plenty. We used to mine sulphur off White Island and bring it in through the port. So the Bay is a really important place for us to be operating, and I guess part of being a responsible business is we look at different parts of the environment and what we can do and work on. We have lots of kind of innovation work around freshwater and climate, and then in the nature space, I guess it's a little bit more local with how we take that approach. So we do a range of things with staff locally. I guess some of the big call-outs, we're supporters of the Bay Conservation Alliance, who do some really fantastic work. So we support them, and as part of that, we have staff that go out and do educational trapping days up in the kaimais, which is awesome. So we take groups of staff up and then basically take them through the reason that we need to trap predators and take them through a bit of a day around that. So that's really cool. We also do quite a lot of other stuff. We have volunteer days with Coast Care, for example, so looking after our dune systems. We've had things in the past where we've we've got 300 staff at the Mount site, so we did a bit of a project to bring rat traps in through predator-free Bay of Plenty. We gave those away to a whole lot of the staff on site and got them to take them out in their backyards and record predator kills. So there's a lot of wide-ranging stuff, and it's, I think, really important to kind of connect the staff through to those projects in the regions.
No, that's great. It does sound like a wide range, and I am really interested in how, I guess from a Ballance perspective, how you found these projects and organisations. I guess I recently learned that how businesses can connect to what's available locally can be a bit of a barrier. So it'd be great to understand how you found these organisations and why you've connected to them. And why are they a good match for Ballance and what you guys do?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think the key is that a lot of these things are staff driven. So I guess we rely on organisations like BCA, for example, approaching us and putting a case forward. But I guess we've also got an internal strategy as well around what we want to be doing. But often it comes back to individuals, and I guess I'd talk to myself personally here to raise a cause and rally the business kind of around that and aligning it with things that we're already doing. I think a good example that we do is we have an initiative called our Safety Cross. So as a site and as a business, we have a whole lot of measures around health and safety that we work to hit each month. And if we meet all of those, we donate $1,000 to a charity or a local business. And so one of those things was we gave $1,000 to a Tanewanuku Kiwi Trust up here in the Bay. But that comes from, I guess, just someone, I guess, seeing that as an opportunity and raising it and kind of connecting it through to the business's purpose. So it can be kind of challenging, and it's hard to know. There's so much out there and you can do so much. So to try and nail it down to like what's specific, what's meaningful and what will make a difference.
Yeah.
But I guess as a business, we really look to connect it through to things that will engage our people, align to our strategy and kind of make sense for us locally in the region. Yeah.
And I love the connection to your people. I think it is a really important place to start with, especially internally in your organisation. So how did you engage your staff to get them involved and understand from them, what their drivers are and what they find of value for them to be involved in? And I guess, have you seen benefits from that with your people and also for Ballance as a whole?
Absolutely. So I guess one thing there is it's really important to try and empower your staff. And so, like I said, we've got 40 major sites with Ballance people across the country, and all of them do their own little things in their communities, which is pretty amazing. So, all across the country, they're empowered to do any initiatives or activities that promote the responsible business idea. Bay Conservation Alliance is a good example where I guess the focus is really around staff education. It's connecting them to something a bit bigger than themselves and giving people a chance to learn and engage. And for us as a business, I guess the main thing that we do it for is engagement, right? And you definitely see a benefit in that area.
Yeah, I love that. I think the how is so important. How businesses can get involved, how you do it internally to get your staff on board. This month we launched our Partnering for Nature project, which has an aim to connect our local businesses to meaningful biodiversity projects here in Tauranga Moana. And I guess the biggest takeaway from our launch was learning and understanding that the businesses want to take action, they want to do the right thing, but they just don't know how. And they don't know how to align it internally to what is meaningful for them as well. So it's great to see, how you apply it internally with Ballance and how externally the impact that you can make out in the community.
I guess just picking up on a point there, it's really important for businesses to realise they can't do everything. And so picking things that are meaningful and you can sustain is really important, because you can't do all these projects. There's so many options, so yeah.
I guess that comes back to, some of the challenges that you might have been, getting involved with these projects. To your point, you can't do it all. But are there any other challenges that businesses might face starting out on their journey? And if so, what would you suggest as some, ideas or ways to tackle them?
Yeah, I think one of the big challenges is with any of these projects, I look at a lot of the things we support are volunteer-based. And so momentum's a key word. And the biggest challenge here is finding things that can endure through difficult business cycles. We've talked about it's not easy out there at the moment, and so everyone is looking at what they're spending money on and how they're supporting businesses and really making sure that is delivering value. And so the real challenge is finding things that are meaningful and that the staff can connect to, so that you can keep justifying it during difficult times. So that's probably the main challenge, I think. From a staff point of view, it's an easy thing to justify given the benefits, but really it's connecting it to the wider business strategy is just so critical.
Yeah, so for businesses to find their why and how they connect to the local projects and the momentum that they can gain. So the Partnering for Nature project does aim to, one, help support these businesses to connect to the local projects, but also understanding how they can do that. So what are the matrix of options? Is it donations? Is it sponsorship? Is it volunteer days? And then the value exchange on both sides. So the value that you want to gain for your business, but like you've pointed out, what are their organisation strategy? What is their purpose? What do they need from our businesses as well?
I guess it's really important to understand, one, it's great for the business, but you also need to understand what's the best for the people you're trying to support, and how will that be received, whether it is funding or manpower or, I look at the Coast Care Days, for example, like we've been able to support them with fertiliser, but we've also given them manpower and hours, which is really important when you're trying to get plants in the ground and these sorts of things. So.
And I honestly just want to say thank you so much for your time and providing an overview. This is really important, insight to businesses that are looking to embark on this journey. So I think one last remark from you, Angus, if you had any advice for a business that was starting out, what would you tell them?
I think it's interesting because even for Ballance, I think we're doing some great stuff, but there's a lot more we could be doing as well. And it's just such a long journey. And I guess when you look at it, it's a real mountain to think, there's so much in front of you. So I guess it's just trying to find even just one project that you can start off, find something that's meaningful, find something that connects your team, and just make a first step and then see how it's received. I guess all these things, provided you're measuring the outcomes and the benefits, then you can gauge whether it's a good investment and whether you can keep it going. So I guess just trying to find one project that you can start off is a great start.
So one last quick fire question for you. What is one word or phrase to sum up Tauranga Moana?
Look, I grew up here, on a dairy farm. I went to Otago, I came back. The one word for me is magic.
If you would like to know more about our Partnering for Nature project, please get in touch with Priority One.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you've been inspired to learn more about Tauranga Moana's forward-thinking people and businesses. If sustainability, innovation and growth are important to you, visit our website and connect with us. We're bringing the prosperity and splendour of Tauranga Moana to the world.